Alright, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing Coffer-Overflow-2. So, like I said before, I'm not an expert when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I'll try my best to explain it. And I'll leave the write-ups below that I've read to better understand this problem. So first things first. First I connected with my NC localhost and connected to port 9999. And it looks very similar to the other prompts that we've gotten in the past, which is welcome to Coffer-Overflow. Now, one of the things that we usually get in these problems is the source code, and just by inspecting the source code, it looks very similar to all the previous problems that we had. We have a set buff, puts, and a gets, but the only difference this time compared to the other three is that there's no comparison function. We just have a regular function, which is bin function. I'm guessing that the way to this problem is getting the gets function to call the bin function, so we could have system access, or we could get like a shell access to the thing. We could use something called GDB, which we've been using in the past, but right now we're going to be using a more GUI based disassembler called Ghidra. So with Ghidra is like a disassembler that a lot of reverse engineers use. It comes with a decompiler and the assembly code on the left and right. And right here we see the main function, which is, if we look closely, it's very similar to what our source code. So this is a very almost accurate. The decompiler always kind of does accurate comparisons, but yeah, from my experience, it's kind of accurate for the most part, and sometimes it might be a little bit tricky with the syntax, but it's whatever. Anyway, now look at this. We have the functions here, and it looks like we have the bin function. Now we're gonna click on it, and we have the bin function. So what we're gonna do right now is, I guess, get the address of the bin function where it's currently at. So right now, let's just copy the address, and let's copy this. All right, then we copied it. So we get the copy of the address of the bin function. We're gonna use this for later. So I guess right now we're just gonna be like looking around Ghidra, and we're gonna go back to the problem that we're doing right now. So let's see. One thing that we noticed is, just by looking at the function, is that it looks like the stack for local 18 is at OX18, which is, if we were to Google what OX18 is in Google, we find out that OX18 in decimal is just 24. So now, like, if we go back to the source code, all we need to do is build a buffer overflow of oversized 24 with the address of the function that we're trying to pass. And right here, it looks like I already made like a prescript, because I was just trying this out to see if it was working on previous videos. So let me just quickly remove this and just redo this all over again. So first thing we're gonna do is import Pwn tools, which is a popular tool which a lot of CTFers use, and we're gonna connect to our local host along with the IP. So let's see. So P is gonna equal our localhost IP address along with the port that we're trying to connect. And after that, we're gonna set up a payload. A payload is gonna be of size 24. Okay. So we're gonna set up a payload. The payload. So we're gonna set up a payload of size 24. The reason why is because of OX18 size 24, and then we're gonna set a variable called bin func, which is gonna hold the address of our bin function that we get from Ghidra again. So let me get this bin function from Ghidra and copy and paste it. So we get the bin function, and after that, we're gonna concatenate the bin function. We're gonna concatenate it that to the end of the payload. And the reason for P64 is just because, from my understanding, it takes Indian. Like, it's like an Indian indentation. You guys could look it up, what Indian, little Indian, and big Indian is. But in this case, I'm just gonna post it to the payload. And after that, we're gonna send our payload to the port, or to our port connection. And after that, we're gonna set an interactive shell. Now, after we set our interactive show, what we're gonna do is just save this, and after that, run it. So Python 3 coffee2.py, and if we were to run it, it looks like it's connected, and it looks like we could run command system commands, and then we could just retrieve the flag, which is return to bin, more like return to win. And that's about it for the most part. I think this mostly ends our Coffer series, Coffer-Overflow-2, or Coffer-Overflow series that we've been doing for like the past 3 weeks. This is just, like I said, I'm not an expert, I'm not a pro CTFer. This is just for me personally to better understand how CTFs work for the most part and just become smarter. Hope you guys like this video, and goodbye.